something that's been on my mind pretty much since its release, which is the Switch 2. Before we get into this, I just need to get something out of the way. This meme, get it out of your system. You see it, I understand. Now we can move on to substantive conversation about this console and about what's been going on with it. Last year, the Switch 2 came out. To those of you who don't remember, the Switch 1 came out, what was it, like 2016 or 17, and it slowly became an incredibly well-selling console. But at launch, it was underpowered. A lot of other consoles were stronger than the Switch 1 was. It didn't matter to Nintendo fans as much because they'd always been behind the curve. They'd always been dealing with lower powered consoles. But to the greater gaming industry, it was like, do you want the portability or not? Do you want your Nintendo exclusives or not? Lots of games were met with criticism for not running as well over that course of time. People wanted a Switch Pro, right? This was a thing that was wanted for a long time. There was speculation that the Switch OLED, which came out later, was originally supposed to be this Switch Pro, but due to COVID and chip shortages, we weren't able to actually have that true update, upgrade, whatever. Years go by, and eventually Switch 2 is finally announced. It is more powerful, people are getting their hands on it, it's running things really well. Debates spark, as they do around Nintendo constantly. The Switch 2 was considered too expensive, overpriced, all that sort of stuff. People were talking about how Nintendo overcharges, they take advantage, they're inconsiderate to their customers. In a world where corporations seem to be getting their greedy little mugs on every part of our lives, I understand this complaint and this criticism and this conversation. I, however, was taken aback by this discourse, but I'll get to that in a second, why I was taken aback by it. If we look down here, we can see these games. More expensive games, right? Nintendo finally goes to not just the $7 mark, but jumps to the $80 one. People are, for, you know, the gaming industry at large, are like, oh, this is a bad precedent. This is scary. Again, fine concern, fine criticism, like, because people don't want their games to cost too much. Gaming is already a prohibitively expensive hobby to be in because you have to buy a multi-$100 worth console that they're increasing over time as they get more powerful. There is a problem with this though, and that is the context of what the world is going through right now. The United States tariffs, general increase of the price of the individual parts of the consoles. People wanted the higher power that they've been asking for years, but they didn't want the increased price that naturally was going to come with that power. I'm not one to really have a huge stance on it must be exactly $450 because of these prices. I think that people who are really into knowing the exact pricing of every little individual piece that would go into the console and determine what it should cost would disagree with this price, possibly. I don't know how many of those people on Reddit complaining about the price though. I have found that the discourse around Switch 2 has been sort of this weird change in culture that we've seen over the past decade, 15 years or so. If you don't have a massive issue with something, if you just are passive, you could be seen as a sheep, an apologist for billion-dollar company. I do think there are people who are rabid to defend a company and to shut people up from complaining and stuff. The whole let people enjoy things is a valid comment, but not one that is really thoughtful a lot of the time. My issue stems mainly from the Switch 2 being a powerful console, a good upgrade from the Switch 1, which is already offering you a pretty good experience. I just wanted a more powerful Switch 1. I love the Switch 1. I have a massive library of games on there. That thing that people say that like Nintendo games are never on sale is just not true. They go on sale significantly less than other games, but the majority of my Nintendo library that I have on Switch 1, I got on sale, and I have plenty of first-party Switch games. I just waited to buy games. And that's like a really big thing to me that I just find peculiar. Between increased prices in tech, governments making scary choices, there's so many entertainment options. We are overflowing with entertainment. You are never gonna watch every movie, play every game, read every book, listen to every album. You can't. There's too much content. You don't have to do every new thing. So when people complain, this is too much money, I don't know if you're right or wrong, but it's your choice to buy the thing. Don't buy it. I'm not anti-complain on the internet. I'm not at all. I am very much go by your word. I feel like it's that simple. You just do it or don't do it. This whole fear of like the gaming industry is going to go this direction. We have at this point thousands of video games that we can play. There's no shortage of entertainment for every moment of the day. Maybe it's disappointing that a new game is prohibitively expensive or out of reach. It does suck to miss out on, like, you know, Pokopia, which, by the way, I have a Switch 2. I haven't bought Pokopia yet. Looks fun. I'm not gonna just drop 70 just like that. You know what I mean? Like, I really have to feel like I'm gonna do something with it. How many games have you bought personally? And this is not a straw man, I'm just asking, posing the question. How many games have you bought personally that are sitting in your backlog that you haven't opened? And how many games do you already own that you haven't played in years that would be fun to replay? We have out-of-touch companies. They're making products that aren't worth our time. So don't engage with them. Don't buy them. Point it out when it happens and keep it moving. Play the stuff that you want to play. I don't think a lot of people need to even hear this. I think that this is really obvious to a lot of people, and I'm just sort of acknowledging this really loud population. This is not a commentary on Nintendo doesn't make their games weirdly inaccessible, right? This isn't a commentary on streaming culture where people want you to buy subscriptions instead of just buying it one time and having the game. I think it's defensible in some capacity to be frustrated about how companies handle their IPs and the methods that people choose to circumvent that. I understand it. I just think that some of the stuff I'm saying is pretty rational. It's not even a hardcore defense of the company. I have ranted for hours about my frustrations with the company, but I don't think that the internet needs more of that. Everyone knows these frustrating things. I will say one thing though, the one thing I will complain about right now, how in the world are there not themes for the home menu at this point? It is insane that it's a black or white and nothing else after all this time. That must be one of the easiest things to do to a console ever. Why do I have to go to the end of my game selection to go to my groups? Why can't I just press a button and go to my groups automatically from wherever I am on the Switch? I don't really care about how well the Switch 2 does or not. I'm not in Nintendo's corner or against them. I just like things they've made a lot throughout my life, and I'm going to keep enjoying those things. And if they keep making things that I like, then I will enjoy those things. If they do a thing I don't like, I'm not going to buy it. I think it's that simple. There's so much to enjoy in life. I don't think that we need to be spending all of our time getting angry on the internet. And we're also not entitled to things that companies do. If you're not satiated with my arguments in this video, the biggest change that you can make is with your wallet. Just don't buy things. And if you're going, well, that's not going to stop them from doing it. Yeah, on your own, you are correct. But how many people do you know or have seen that will complain about a company's decisions and then day one of release buy thing anyway? Clearly, whatever you're complaining about is not such a big deal that you didn't get it anyway. So the one group of people that I will give some apology for is the group of people who genuinely are struggling and can't afford stuff right now. That's real, and it sucks that it's prohibiting people from accessing the content. And for some people, they're hearing me say that and going, that was the whole point. That's the whole point. What do you mean? But I don't think it's the case in a lot of these situations. If your main concern is not being able to buy the video game because you can't afford it, I don't think that your main concern in life is that. I think a lot of the people who are shouting from the rooftops about this on the internet are used to being in gaming and not liking this change that stops them from regularly engaging with it. Hopefully by the end of the lifespan of the console, we see a lot more improvements, but as it stands right now, I'm playing more powerful Switch 1. It basically is just more Switch 1, but runs better. There's not much else.